Hey, this is Lamar King Jr. You're watching Friars on the Farm.
Welcome to episode 255 of Friars on the Farm. I'm Donovan, and with me is Roy.
Oh, hey, Donovan. This week for you guys, we're going to lament about what happened in Coors Field this weekend. It's been a great run, but kind of sour ending coming into today. And then we got some minor league news. Ryan Bergert had an amazing week with a combined no-hitter, and that culminated in his player of the week. And then we've got the affiliate rundown, and Donovan went up to Lake Elsinore and talked to Lamar King Jr. So we've got an interview mixed in with the middle of the affiliate rundown for you guys.
Absolutely. But let's start with God. And this, so what happens? I think this happens to a lot of teams, almost maybe every team. Every team has a team that particular year they just can't beat, that just has their number. And it's usually a team that's a lower, not such a great team. And for us, for the Padres, it's the Rockies. It's funny how we used to be that team. Like we used to be the team that would beat, back when the Rockies were good, or back when the Giants were good. Like we would win those series during the season, but we couldn't get out of the cellar, or we just couldn't get anywhere close to 500. But there were teams that were better than us, and we always seemed to have their number. And it's just perplexing, and it's a kind of a perplexing yet kind of fun thing about baseball is I believe that happens to every organization and every team. But the Rockies have our numbers. The Oysters have our numbers.
Yeah. I saw there were people walking around with signs that said, "Your oysters are weird."
Are weird, right?
Love that. But I mean, the Padres won 8 series in a row. They won something like 20 out of 22 out of 25 games. I mean, incredible streak of wins. And so it's just a matter, okay, start the next streak. Next streak starts tomorrow. So hopefully that starts today. I checked. The Twins are in town, and they've got a rookie who's making it looks like a second career start today. So I don't know why that always seems to be a trap for the Padres, but hopefully that doesn't hold true today.
Absolutely. And we have Michael King going tonight. So let's hope he continues on the dominance that he has shown. And you're right. I mean, this is a good team. This is not a litmus test, but these are the teams. We've had a pretty soft schedule of late, and we have a soft schedule moving forward. But the Minnesota Twins are in contention. I'm pretty sure they're above 500. They're pushing for a wild card spot there in the Central in the American League. And, it's not a litmus test, but it's one of those like, okay, boys, let's get it back together. Let's get back on track.
Well, today, at least they're going to have to do that without Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah.
He diving into first base, he injured his shoulder. And, some of these where they try to, they try to wave off the trainers, or they try to tough it out. Maybe they'll stay in the game for another inning, something like that, then come out next time they come up to bat. But with him, it was like right away, he just started walking toward the dugout. He knew that something was wrong. He knew he hurt himself. I'd like to think that it's a guy just knowing his body and trying to be a little bit conservative, knowing that it's a long season. But it certainly was a scary moment.
Absolutely. And that's the thing about having guys, they know their body and like, hey, I'm not even going to fool around. It kind of reminds me of just earlier in the day or the day before, Leo De Vries, De Vries. It's with an F. I hear the guys in Lake Elsinore say Leo De Vries. So it's not Vries with a V, but it's more of an F sounding Vries.
I heard him say it in an interview. It came out like Jeffries.
Jeffries,
Leodalis De Vries.
De Vries. But we don't have the thick Dominican accent.
True.
But he dove for a ball, and it looked like the same thing. Like a shoulder impingement. Like both of them looked very mild. I impinged my shoulder playing in a tournament, diving for a ball, where I dove for the ball, landed straight like this, and there's a nerve that goes in between the bones in your shoulder. And when you do this too much and it's too heavy, it pinches that nerve. And for me, it was pretty bad. I ended up not playing for the rest of the weekend. I had to use my other hand to shift my car. I mean, that looks like it could have been it, but much, much more milder. But that's what it looked like. It was an impingement, because you saw De Vries, the video that I posted. He just knows right away, like if there's something, there's no power there, and he's trying to stop it from hurting. And Kim, like you said, he walked right off the field. Like, I'm not even going to fool around. I'm walking off.
Right. Well, prayers up for both of them.
Yeah.
Ha-Seong Kim just hit a home run, I think, in the game before, and he's been in a bit of a slump. So he's starting to show some signs of getting out of the slump. But if he needs to hit the injured list for a couple of weeks, now's the time to do it. We want everybody healthy the last month and a half of the season.
Yeah.
So speaking of today's game, did you hear the big news that there is an inner ring friend of the podcast that's getting the call up to the majors today?
I do not know. I went straight from work to the gym to here.
Sam Levitt is going to be calling
Oh.
today's game on the radio. He's not just doing the pregame, postgame.
Right.
He is
Okay.
calling play-by-play today for the San Diego Padres, and I could not be happier for him. From my standpoint, he's the hardest working guy on all those broadcast
Yeah.
crews. Pre-game, post-game, getting interviews, running all over the place, and then doing appearances, outside of that schedule. And then even
Yeah.
when the Padres out of town, he goes up to Lake Elsinore and hops on their broadcasts.
Yeah.
So
And
the guy's just burning it at both ends, trying to earn that. I'm sure he loves his job right now.
Yeah.
Being around big leaguers is what he's wanted to do all of his life, but really he wants to be in that booth. And so this is like a little audition, a little cup of coffee for him. Gets to put together another audition for that CD that he can slide under the hotel room doors at the GM meetings. So super happy for him.
Well, I don't want to take away from anyone in our broadcast team here for the Padres, but we've known Sam since he was with the Amarillo, and I watched we both watched a ton of those games. He is an incredible play-by-play announcer, like very well thought out. He does all the back work. He, when I first saw him when he did the post and pregame show early last year, I wasn't this year when he started. I'm like,
This is his third season.
Okay, like the first season I went there like, hey, it's a pretty good gig for you. He's like, yeah, for now, I really want to do play-by-play. I'm like, that's his joy. I would love to try to keep him here if he gets an opportunity somewhere else. Absolutely, Sam, go do it. This is what you want to do. Follow your passion. He is really good. Like, you guys are going to really enjoy him. Well, it's going to be over with by the time you hear this, but you're going to really enjoy him. He knows what he's doing. He does his homework. He's on top of the game. So we're so stoked for him, but yeah, it's his audition.
Well, Dave Marcus has been doing his job for decades, supporting, as the engineer. And he's in those guys' ears, constantly feeding them, additional information. He's used to doing the play-by-play being a one-man show.
Right.
No color guy, nobody in the booth kind of helping him, no stats, the only numbers that he has in front of him are the ones that he put together himself. So he's going to have some extra help. I'm sure that's going to help, with the depth of knowledge that he can bring in. But like in Amarillo, he was checking out the Twitter feed, seeing who's shouting him out so he can call him out on the, looking for content. That won't be a problem today.
Right, absolutely. And I didn't get a chance to read the article on Dave Marcus. I will when I get a chance, but I read it. I didn't read it, but I saw everyone tweeted it on, on X. I can't wait to read it. That was one of those guys that behind the scene, you always see him kind of in the background whenever they do show the, Dawn and Mud or any of the radio guys. But he's the backbone of our broadcast team. But to get back to Sammy, like, he would set up his own mixing board. He would get to the field super early. He would listen to our podcast, and whatever he can glean out of our interviews with players, like, he would say, keep sending to us because I need to know these guys. And so it was really kind of fun to do that and have him use some of our content. But yeah, having a whole team behind him, he's just going to shine. It's just going to be, he's doing radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might even be worth, turning down Dawn and Mud just to listen to the play-by-play, because he's going to be phenomenal.
I'm going to have to flip over for a couple innings. That's the nice thing about the MLB TV app, is that you can select what audio feed you can listen to. I was thinking back, we haven't kept a running tally of who's been our most frequent guest, but he's got to be top 2. I'm guessing it's between him and Emily Walden.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I think we've talked to him like 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah, we've had him well before when he was in the minor league system. We've had him a couple of times here as as in-season Sammy and spring training Sammy. He was the one that you asked him a couple of the questions during this last spring training. But I am like, well, ask him about how he does this audio stuff. And that's how I got the equipment that I have right now that I do the interviews with, is the Rode Go2 Pro microphones that are wireless. And, as just a podcast guy, I see what he does, and like, that looks easier than the way I was doing it. Spring training Sammy hooked me up.
Well, I'm sure a bunch of you out there have gone up to the Western Metal Supply building, the Budweiser Loft,
Yep.
before or post game, and stopped in and said hi. He's an accessible guy, and he's got his job to do. And you can see when he's locked in, he's trying to filter out all the craziness, all the crazies out there getting their social sparklers. But he's always happy to stop and say hi to everybody. And I'm looking forward to seeing him after today's game, so I can go up and give him a little congratulations for getting his first big call.
And we had, just as we're getting out of the gym, Liddy's old coworker is like, "Hey, it's a long shot, but you want our tickets?" And we're like, damn it. No, we don't need them. So I'm going to turn on the radio. But yeah, I saw that in the agenda, and I'm like, who's the inner, like, I didn't see any transaction. Oh no, it was in season Sammy. Now he's play-by-play Sammy.
Oh man, excited.
All right, so let's move on. All right. So, hey, San Antonio's Ryan Bergert was named Texas League Pitcher of the Week. We're going to get a little into it later on the no-hitter. But this week, he has 6 innings, 0 hits. He was perfect through 6 innings with 9 Ks with his combined no-hitter. It reads here, Ryan Bergert has been named Texas League Pitcher of the Week for the week of August 12th through the 18th. This is the first weekly honor for Bergert in his career. The right-hander retired all 18 batters he faced on August 15th. Bergert was one of the 3 mission pitchers in a combined no-hitter on August 15th against Amarillo Sawpoodles. He recorded his 2nd win of the season in the process. And remember, guys, wins and losses don't really matter in the minor leagues. It's all about the underlying numbers. The right-hander has made 18 starts for the mission this season. He missed some time in June while dealing with an injury following his performance last week. He is now 2-7 on the year with a 5.12 ERA. Bergert has struck out 64 batters in over 70 1/3 innings pitched. The Ohio native is in the 2nd season with the missions. He went 1-2, with a 2.86 ERA in 9 games. That's 8 starts last year. He also started the game 2 in the Texas League postseason for the missions. For Bergert, this marks the first award in his professional career. He is now the 3rd missions player to win an award in 2024. Brandon Venezuela was the player of the month for June. Victor Lizarraga was the pitcher of the week for the July 28th. Now Ryan Bergert. He was selected by the Padres in the 6th round in the 2001 draft out of West Virginia. MLB Pipeline currently lists him as number 26 in our organization. Congratulations, because the kid has had an up and down season. It seems like when he's on, he's absolutely on, like he just did this week. Other times he just misses with location. And a AA in the Texas League, they'll make you pay.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Especially with the minor league baseball. So a strong second half can put him in position for maybe getting an opportunity by the end of this year, but would definitely set him up for a good long look next year, either with the Padres or, who knows where these guys wind up going on. But congratulations to Ryan.
Absolutely.
All right. So one more thing here. So Baseball America puts out their they poll the managers every year. So this caught your eye, a tweet that Baseball America put out. They said, we polled low A California league managers for their most exciting player this season. Their answer, Padres teenage phenom Leodalis De Vries. Now, we already talked about the injury scare, but he's just been on fire the last month and a half, couple months it seems. But a lot of Padres got a shout out in this article, so I wanted to run down them. So best strike zone judgment, low A, Braden Carpathios. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. He's the other guy that had a big moment this week, along with the no-hitter with emissions. Then best defensive catcher, no surprise to anybody, Ethan Salas in Fort Wayne. Best defensive shortstop, the Padres got 2 nods. AAA, Mason McCoy is the best defensive shortstop in the
El Paso
Pacific Coast League.
Pacific Coast League.
And then low A, Leo De Vries, Lake Elsinore. And then finally, the most exciting player, as I already said, Leo De Vries. But so he's 18 years old. I don't even think he's turned 18 yet. He might still be 17, playing shortstop every day in Lake Elsinore. And you got some fairly polished players there. You got some college guys. So for him to get that as the best shortstop, the best defensive shortstop, I think that's a pretty good credit to him.
Absolutely. He is 17 years old. He turns October 11th is when he turns 18. So he's a Sagittarius. Not Sagittarius. I don't know what October is. But yeah, he's still 17 years old. And he's the most exciting player. He's the most exciting player in the Cali League. And he plays like it, and he plays the defense like it. I saw a couple plays this week, and he had glimmers of Fernando Tatis Jr. That's a tough comp because of the expectations that you have with that. But I was like, he's so athletic in short, going both to his left and to his right. He makes these great plays that just look so simple. The bat has certainly turned around this past month, and that's good to see for a kid that, hasn't even turned 18 yet. We'll see what happens with the injury. The Padres don't say much. They'll just not have him in the lineup. They may put him on the IL. We don't know. We'll see how that goes, and we'll just kind of keep quiet on that until we find out. But yeah, exciting player. Super stoked to be able to go up there and watch him play. Hell, even watch him on MILB TV.
You were talking about his defense, about range and athleticism. We've seen some really good arms in Lake Elsinore. Particularly coming to mind is Gabriel Arias, just absolute cannon of an arm. How does De Vries' arm compare? Because you've had a chance to see him both in person.
I've seen it's pretty accurate. It's a hard throw. Like he throws in 90s, low 90s, I would think.
Okay.
But more than anything, it's accurate. Like he's running to his left or to his right. The throw is accurate. And that's what really matters when he's deep in the hole, in the third base hole, and he throws back across his body. Like that's huge. And to make a good solid frozen rope is what you need out of your shortstop. So he can stick it short.
That's a good point, because you see a lot of guys with that real strong arm over there at shortstop, but then they have a hard time keeping it, where the pitcher or the first baseman can pick it.
Yeah, absolutely. He is really fun to watch. So let's hope that injury doesn't keep him out too long.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with our affiliate rundown.
Martinez, a veteran for the Sixers squad. King Jr. hits that one deep to left center field, all the way towards the warning track. Lucas Ray sending Durfee from first. He comes all the way from first to home and scores. It's an RBI double from Lamar King Jr.
All right, let's get to the affiliate rundown. But first, let's give a shout out to Mad Friars, MILB TV, and the broadcast partners of the Storm, the Tin Caps, the Missions, and the Chihuahuas for all the content that we get from them. And what is this? The Olympics with all the hearts, everyone hearts in the Olympics. Big shout out to those guys. If you don't follow Mad Friars, if you don't pay for the subscription, literally it's $5. I just got charged last month. It's $40 for a full year. You get the rundowns obviously for free, but the interviews, the other content is really good. And it gets those guys out to the affiliates and be able to do the great work that they do. So subscribe to Mad Friars. MILB TV, you should be able to get if you have the MLB app. If you have the MLB package or anything like that, like the Padres package, you still get it. Just scroll down and you get all the affiliate games. Just scroll down from the regular teams, regular MLB. The affiliates are right down there, but you guys probably already know that. And obviously follow the Storm, Tin Caps, and Missions and Chihuahuas on X and check them out whenever you can. But let's get it on. Starting in Lake E, painting the corners. Thursday, Mikhail Morales gave the Storm a solid start. He got through 5 innings of work with just 1 run. That run came in the 3rd inning when a sacrifice fly followed a double and then was finished with an RBI single. He finished the night striking out 3 and walking none. The native of Venezuela owns a 5.26 ERA and has 46 strikeouts in 39 1/3 innings in 2024, split between ACL, the Complex, and the Storm. I like this kid. I've seen him pitch a couple times, throws hard, runs into trouble on occasion because he's young and that baby rattlesnake, I want to throw hard. But I love this kid.
He's got some filthy stuff.
He does.
And I don't know if you saw the the Storm. So it's players weekend for the big
Yeah.
league team.
Yeah.
So everybody's going by their nickname. They got their fancy bats and all that fun stuff. So the Storm, they tried to get on the action a little bit, and they had all the players talk about what their nicknames were, like if they had a nickname now or if they had a nickname growing up. And so it was a fun clip. Look on the Lake Elsinore Storm Twitter account and find that. And it's a neat way to just see a little taste of the personality of the kids out there.
Right. And was he the first one? Was it Chuchino or Chuchito?
He was later in there, but he wasn't one of the first couple. But
Okay.
yeah, he was in there.
It's funny because I asked. Okay, so I saw that, and I actually saw Justin do that interview with Lamar King, ask him the question, and then that's one of my first questions on the quick hits, and I'm like, "Hey, so do you have a nickname?" And he's like, "No," but then during that, he's like, "They call me King."
I mean, your last name's King. That's kind of a kick in, right?
It's built in, right?
I mean, a lot of people are called their last name on a baseball field anyway. It's not really a nickname,
Right.
is it?
Right.
All right. So moving on to On the Screws. On Thursday, they walked it off, but not before they tied it in the bottom of the ninth. Braden Carpathios lined a single that skipped past the shortstop to open the frame. A walk and a hit batter loaded the bases with 2 outs before Kai Roberts hit a slow chopper to second base that Bronx baseball legend Randy Flores couldn't handle, allowing the tying run to score. Inland Empire put up 2 runs in the top of the 10th. With the automatic runner at second, the Manfred man, a walk would be sandwiched between 2 groundouts. With 2 runners on and 2 outs, Braden Carpathios would walk up to the plate. On the third pitch of the at-bat, he sent a no-doubter 423 feet over the center field wall. Absolute tank of a bomb. Here's the clip courtesy of Robbie Loya of the Storm broadcast and MILB TV.
1 ball, 1 strike. Carpathios drives that baseball deep to center field with a chance to walk it off. It's gone! Are you not entertained? It's a 3-run dinger for Braden Carpathios. He walks it off for Lake Elsinore. Never fair because Braden Carpathios is here.
Absolute bananas moment. I mean, what a crazy way to end a game. And, Braden's kind of needed it. He's been hitting for average, but the powers, it's been like, when's the power going to start showing up? And my goodness, he just launched that thing.
And like you said, he's the only one still left in Elsinore. Everyone else moved up. And so I was talking to Justin about this, and he's like, he was so happy for this moment. He really needed it. One of the things about that is, they may be hitting good, they may be hitting for average, but they see other guys move up and they're like, well, what do I need to do? What needs to happen? I'm not saying this is going to propel him into high A, but like, it's a good confidence builder where he can just relax. Like, okay, I had my big moment. I took it and I made it happen. I took my shot. What's that? What did they say in Hamilton? I take my shot, the Hamilton.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I took my shot. Anyways, you guys might, regardless. It's really good to see him do it. He's such a good dude. We talked to him earlier this season. And the Robbie Lloyd, I love this. The broadcast kid, Robbie, he's great. It's very much a classic voice that he uses. And he comes up with these sayings. What did he say? God, the call there is just classic, and he does a really good job with it.
I was listening to the Fresno game last week, and to go off the rails when Joe Musgrove was doing his rehab appearance there, and every hit that one of the Fresno guys got off Joe Musgrove, you would have thought that it was driving in the winning run of World Series game, and the guys went through the roof. Robbie does a pretty good job of keeping his energy at a decent level, riding the highs and lows. But he really did go up and get that one. I mean, that's the moment you go off. That's when you fire off the fireworks.
Absolutely. Okay, so for batting around, we're going to give you guys the Lamar King interview. I went up this last weekend. It wasn't too hot. Great kid. First player to ever come out with a bottle of water for me. Like, he brought me a bottle of water and it kind of threw me off. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Absolutely. Here's the interview right here. We'll come back right back. Hey, we're here with Lamar King Jr., 4th round out of Calvert High School. How you doing?
It's amazing. I'm just glad to be here.
How about you? First off, aren't you glad to be out of the complex?
Yeah, super happy.
Right.
Super happy. The baseball here is so much more fun, and it's just good to be a part of. The environment's great.
Yeah, and also a lot cooler.
Yes, a lot cooler.
I follow Jerry Espinoza. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to Jerry Espinoza. I think one of his cameras melted.
Did it?
Yeah. Okay, so you were born in Vancouver. How soon after you were born did you guys move to Maryland?
Very soon. I was only like 1-2 years old. So I was born 2 months early.
Okay.
So I was my mom was going there for a baby shower, and I kind of popped out unexpected. So yeah, and my dad was playing with Seattle at the time. So it was kind of like he had to stay there in Vancouver for a long time because my birth certificate had to get all sorted out and everything. So
right, because you're in Vancouver. You're a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, I got dual citizenship.
Yeah, right. So you don't sound Canadian.
Yeah, so I spent most of my life in the States, so it's like I don't have that accent. My mom still has it. So, yeah.
That's great. So what team did you grow up following?
So the Yankees, because that was my first T-ball team, so it kind of just stuck with me ever since.
Okay, well then who are your boys?
I really liked watching Alex Rodriguez at the time. That was just like my role model when I was younger. Then I always Derek Jeter, just played the game the right way and everything. So
the one thing about Jeter was I mean, he played 20 years in New York City and
that's hard. I feel like that's hard to do.
Incredibly hard. On top of the media's on you, and just a really good guy. And there was no dirt. There was no stuff that they were digging up all kinds of stuff from all kinds of players. Mm-hmm. And 20 years, I have that. I have a deep respect, admiration, and a underlying loathing because I'm a Padre fan in 1998. Okay. So what made you choose baseball over football?
It was honestly from a young age. Baseball caught my eye. I played soccer and basketball too. I was pretty good at soccer too. At one point, I was better at soccer than baseball. But I just fell in love with the game. Just couldn't get away from it when I was younger.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you play any high school football, or was it?
Dad wouldn't let me because of injuries and stuff, and he didn't want me to go through what he's going through now with his body and everything. So he just tried to keep me as far away as possible.
Oh, it's so true. And to have him do that is that's a good father.
Yeah.
That's a good dad. Okay. So I always ask this. Catcher. Why?
I just like being every play of the game, and it's like you're kind of like the quarterback on the field. Everything's ran through you and the pitcher, and just having control of it. And just always, that's what I loved.
95 foul balls. That's okay with you?
Yeah, I love it. You eat it up.
All right. So when did you realize that baseball could become a career?
Probably like 8th grade, because that was my first time getting getting noticed for college. So I was like, okay, I might actually have something. And my dad, honestly, he's said it from a young age that I would be there because he saw it and he's been through it, so he knew what it'd take. And I had the drive since I was a little kid. So other than, that's really it.
Okay. Well, let's start with the draft. Where were you on draft day?
I was home. Yeah, with my family.
Did you have a good feeling you were going to go on day one, or?
It was either late day one or early day two, because there were some teams that said then they ended up picking a catcher before, so it was like that's kind of out. But I'm really glad the Padres picked me up because this organization's great.
What other teams were looking at you?
The Mets and the Phillies. Those are the.
Okay, my wife grew up a Mets fan. She's now a Padre fan, but like she'll like that.
Yeah.
A couple of other of your teammates were also drafted. Jose Torres and Peter Hubeck?
Yes.
Did you get to hang out with them in spring training these last couple of years?
So the funny thing is, Jose Torres dates my sister.
No!
So they're together. So yeah. And then me and Pete, we played 10U baseball. So he was on the older team, I was on the younger team. But yeah, we always kind of grew up together and just trained and everything when we were younger.
Okay, so then obviously growing up back in Maryland, that's how Jose met your sister.
Yeah.
Are they still dating?
They are.
That's kind of it's so funny how baseball is such a small community.
It really is.
And then later on, when you make the majors, or when you're in as you go in your career, you may meet up with them. Is he at Rancho?
No, no, he's in who? Pete?
Pete or Jose?
So Jose's with, I think he's in Double A with the Reds. And
Okay.
then Pete, I think he might be in High A.
Okay,
honestly.
so Chattanooga is
Yeah.
where the Reds are, and High A Dodgers. Oh God,
We don't worry about the Dodgers.
we don't really know. Okay, so how did your dad's experience in pro sports help you prepare for this?
Because he's always just engraved just the drive and everything in me from a young age. I've learned a lot from him. Just things when I was younger, I probably went through one ear and out the other, but he just kept engraving it into my brain. And as I get older, I'm like, dang, I should have listened to him when I was younger because I'm going through everything right now. And I was glad that I picked up all those tendencies when I was younger and just didn't throw it out the door.
The hard work.
Yes.
Did he? I don't want to give moms. I want to give moms her props too. Did mom help you out as
yeah,
well?
big time. Yeah, because good to think, the eating part, mom, she made sure I always ate because she was like, you're not eating enough, but just making sure, because the weight room and eating go hand in hand. So it's you have to be able to eat to get bigger, and yeah.
That's fantastic. Being in Maryland, you said you were going to reach out to Jackson. Have you reached out to Jackson yet?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I've talked to him a little bit. He's having a great year.
Dude,
It's insane.
it's insane. Yeah, even on the pod when he made the team, me and Roy, because I did some work with him and James for a fundraiser here, and we follow him and just like, hey, he might need some more mats in Double A, and then he had a little spark, and then it won't go away,
took off, yeah.
and it's phenomenal how well he's done.
He's a great ball player too, but he's an even better person too. So that's the beauty of it.
And even back from A-ball all the way through, it was always team first. Whenever you saw someone do something on the field, he was the first one out there to congratulate, high five, and just huge teammate. Can you pick up on some of that leadership skills from him?
Of course. I mean, I feel like everyone can. If you just watch it, it just shows too. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's go over to the complex now. Philip Wellman, is he still at the complex?
He is. A lot of knowledge, and he's a really good guy. Really good guy.
Well, he is great. It is. I think it's really important for him to be there at the complex, but having him coach an affiliate for us was just great because hearing the stories about him and the knowledge that he has and imparts to you guys is phenomenal. So to have that experience, were you able to talk with him, work with him on anything?
Really, just like we've talked, obviously catching part, game management, just the receiving part, because he talked to the umps after every game and just like seeing what they look for and what they don't like, seeing catches with receiving pitches and everything. So just being able to get that feedback from him it's really good.
We got a soft spot for Welly. He's great. So when did the shoulder surgery happen, or when did the shoulder injury happen?
So I think that happened sometime in July. I was going back to the bag, going back to second, slid and popped out. Tried rehabbing it for 6 weeks, didn't work. Then got the surgery in October 19th, I think.
Okay.
And then, just been trying to get back on the field and just happy I'm here.
That's fantastic, and you're healthy, and you're hitting the ball, and it shows. Did any other older rehabbing players mentor you on, as you're rehabbing?
I have to give a shout out to Smelts, Jackson Smelts.
Okay.
He's with Fort Wayne right now. Because he's had a lot of ups and downs in his career, and he's another one that was always there in the weight room too, just pushing guys and everything. So just give my hat to him.
Nice. Okay, so you're playing first base and DH. Have you been taking any reps behind the plate?
Yes, I'll catch a couple bullpens a week still just to get back there and do stuff. Do some receiving drills and everything. I haven't thrown down the second yet or anything. That's going to come in the off season.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, they just want you to get healthy and get on the field?
Yeah.
So you will be maybe going back to catcher, or are you going to try to mix it up with first base and DH?
Yeah, I'll probably just mix it up a little bit. But yeah, I really want to get back there. So.
Catches are very valuable. You will always have a job in pro sports if you can catch. Okay, so in your short time in A-ball, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
Really just making sure I recover, because that's my main key right now, is making sure I recover the shoulder and the full body, because obviously in AZ you have a lot more resources than you do here, because even with just like nutrition and everything. So really just that part.
Excellent. All right, you ready to have some fun?
Yes.
All right, let's have some fun. Do you have a nickname?
I don't. I mean, people call me LJ, but that's not really a nickname.
No? Okay. Do you have any superstitions?
I do. So 4-4-4. I do a lot of things in fours.
Okay. What are some of the things you do in fours?
As I gotten older, I've kind of run away from it. But when I was younger, say I'd hit something 4 times, like hit something once, I'd probably end up hitting it 4 times. So it's stuff like that.
All right. Who in the major leagues would you like to face?
Who would I like to face? Jacob DeGrom.
Nice, Thor. One person you'd like to meet, living or dead?
Living or dead? Let's see. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Probably The Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah.
All right. He seems pretty cool. You're stranded on an island. You have food, water, and shelter. What are the 3 things that you want?
3 things that I want: food, water, and shelter. Ooh. Make sure it got light. Obviously, you can get wood. Shelter, another thing.
Take your time. We have all the time in the world.
It's a hard one. The last thing. What do I need? I'm gonna get my Bible.
Okay. All right. You got it. Yeah.
Gotta praise the Lord.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you could have a pet that's not a dog or a cat, what would it be?
Ooh, a lion.
A lion. Yeah. You're not the only one. Everyone's picking a lion or a tiger, and they'll ask, like, "Can I have a tiger? Like, can you feed it so it doesn't eat you?" Yeah. Lamar, I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
We've been
thanks for
following you
having
since
me.
you came up. We've been following you as best we can in the ACL. We'll continue to follow you as you grow in your career. We'd love to talk to you as you get more years under your belt. I'll reach out to you on social media and go from there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Donovan, as always, for making the trips up there. I keep saying I'm going to get, I have yet to make it up to Lake Elsinore yet this year. I'm slacking.
Yeah.
But thank you for going up there and talking to Lamar and doing this for us all season. So back to the rundown. Moving up to Fort Wayne, painting the corners. Tuesday, Braden Nett. Braden Nett's been on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
He struck out a career-high 9 batters over 6 quality innings without allowing an earned run. He turned in the longest outing of his minor league baseball career as well, going 6 innings with just 3 hits and no walks allowed. The 22-year-old from Missouri effectively mixed a mid-90s fastball with a split changeup, a sweeper, and a curveball. Split changeup seems to be more common. Guys holding the splitter grip, and then just they call it a change because of the way it moves, I guess. So not to be overshadowed, after Nett, Fernando Sanchez earned the save with his fourth consecutive scoreless outing, going 3 innings and striking out 4. And then again, on Saturday, another friend of the podcast, Jagger Haynes, was unhittable for 5 innings. It was in the 6th when things started to go wrong.
Yeah.
Dayton singled twice, then walked twice to make it 5-2. After the next batter reached on a fielder's choice, Haynes was pulled in favor of Dwayne Matos, and immediately after, Dragons designated hitter John Michael Fail hit a grand slam to pull Dayton in front 6-5. Darn those inherited runners.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's one of those where if Jagger he finishes the 5th inning and they pat him on the back and, good job, go hit the showers. He feels great about his day.
Yeah.
But that last inning's got to leave a real sour taste in his mouth. But still, great outing nonetheless. So later in the inning, Jay Allen hit a 2-run single, gave the Dragons an 8-5 lead. So you start off the day feeling so good about yourself, and then you wind up walking away with trailing by the time the game's over.
It's tough, and no one feels worse than Dwayne Matos giving up the ball.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a couple of donkeys on that Dayton team. Like you have Cam Collier, who I think is one of the Reds' top draft picks, and he's a beast. He was in the I don't think he hit a home run, but I know he got a knock in the Futures game.
No, he hit a home run in the Futures game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just an absolute beast, and he's a young kid. There's a couple other guys there that hit really well there as well. But to go back to Jagger, he is now, I think that should be close to, if not over 100 innings now. And he did 25 last year. recorded.
Yeah, so
innings.
asking him to finish the fifth inning and then sit down and come back for another, at some point you're starting to push, okay, where's the limit of this kid's stamina? I'm sure that's one of the things they're trying to find
Figure out.
out. And
Yeah.
and ultimately you have to figure out how to be good. When you get to that point in the game, you can tell you don't have it, but you still need to be able to get guys out. And that's
Right.
the greats have been able to do that. Jagger Haynes, this year he's at 95 and a third innings pitched. So he's right up there against his, and in 2023, he only pitched 25 and a third innings. So
Yeah.
he's right up there bumping up against that rev limiter, the needles hitting that end.
Yeah, absolutely. So great. Braden pitched on Sunday, a little bit tougher outing this time, but that last Tuesday outing was really good for him. And Fernando Sanchez, I love this kid. He has like I said he has the gogs. Bulldog in the bullpen. I love that kid. Well, let's move on to On the Screws. So Tuesday, Josh Mears continues to hit. He had 2 doubles, raising his batting average at 342 over 10 games this month. So what I did was I noticed that Dylan Sins at the game. Whenever he tweets out, I'm at the game, I'm at Parkview Field. After he's got a couple of hits, I DM'd him. I'm like, hey, Dylan, have you heard anything about what he's done, what he's changed? Because he seems to be hitting and it seems to be sticking. And he wrote, I asked him and Mike Daly, and it just seems mostly to be a renewed focus on making contact. They've told him he only needs to swing at like 75% of full strength to hit the ball hard, so he's not swinging out of his shoes as much. He's much better with 2 strikes. I asked for permission. That's okay. He said, I can tell you guys that. Little bit of inside info, but that's right. I mean, guy is so strong. Like, he does not need to swing so hard. And when you slow down that swing, you can you can focus more on the mechanics and not just swinging for power.
It makes me think of a tennis player that they can stand at the baseline and they can just take full swings and just try to put everything through each ball.
Yeah.
Or they can shorten up a little bit and really try to control their contact.
Yeah, control the barrel.
But again, we've talked about this so many times. It's easy for us to say from this chair right here.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing when you're standing in the box and you're facing 95 and that you touch one and it can go. I can't imagine sitting with my foot on the gas pedal of a Lamborghini. Like, come on, I don't want to give it just a little bit of gas. I want to floor this thing.
Absolutely. But he's so strong, and that barrel control is so important. Just swinging at 75 puts it over the fence and in the gap. And I also noticed a little bit with him, it's pitch recognition. And so many times they just throw slider, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. He has been pulling off that a little bit. He has not been swinging at that chase me slider a little bit. He had a little bit of swing and miss in it, but I've noticed he's laying off when he recognizes it a little bit sooner. So,
if he's shortening up a little bit, then that means he can start just a fraction of a second later. And maybe that gives him enough time to recognize that. And maybe they've also, shown him, okay, look, this is how they're attacking you. This is what you need to try to recognize early in the count. This is what they're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then on Saturday, Ethan Salas went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a walk. We'd like to keep an eye on what Ethan's doing. Obviously, #1 prospect in the Padres org. So the 18-year-old catcher is riding an 11-game on-base streak and has driven in 10 runs in that stretch. A lot of people were talking about the slow start that he's not hitting. He's been hitting a little bit better lately.
Yeah.
And it's just, you got to have some patience. And the kid is just brimming with talent. It's just a matter of time until he gets comfortable and it all starts to come to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone develops at different times, and it's not linear. Like, he had such a great time in Elsinore. The pitchers are just really trying to throw it over the plate, and maybe get a breaking ball every once in a while. So, it's about location in A ball. When you get up to high A, and we've talked to Jacob Marcy about this, where it's almost better pitching in high A than you saw in double A, because they're throwing harder. They're throwing a little crisper breaking balls. So it's good to see him kind of turn it around this past month or so. And maybe that's a breakthrough, but we'll see. As long as we see, and I'm sure the same thing with the organization, as long as we see improvement throughout the season, then we're happy with where he's at, because the bat is lagging, the glove is there. And once again, there's so much more to catching than, his position than just hitting and catching. There's so much more to learn, and that takes up a lot of time as well. So good to see that he's hitting for average a little bit, picking it up. Even if he hits 400 for the next month, he's only going to move his batting average up a couple of points. So you might still see a 219 or a 220. But know that he's starting to put it together and having to finish the year really well.
Right. All right. Well, Donovan, take us to San Antonio and tell us about what those guys put together last Tuesday.
Dude, so I watched this game and I watched until we got to Radley Rodriguez, and then we went out. Then we went out to God, what did we do? I can't remember.
I hope whatever you went to go do, it was really good, because you missed out on the end of on a historic ending.
So I watched all Ryan Bergert start, then Bradley Rodriguez, then I had to move on. So Thursday, 3 chocolate pitchers combined for the 16th 9-inning no-hitter in club history. Ryan Bergert, Bradley Rodriguez, and Ryan Ock combined to no-hit the Sod Poodles. Bergert tossed 6 innings, was perfect that we talked about before. Rodriguez contributed with 1 2/3 of an inning, and Ock finished off the last inning and a third. Bergert was perfect. He retired all 18 batters he faced, striking out 9 across 6 innings of work. Bradley Rodriguez took over on the mound in the 7th. He walked the first batter. When he walked, I was like, but that's all right. Still a no-hitter. To break up the perfect game, but the next batter grounded out to end the inning. Rodriguez came back out in the 8th inning. Ivan Melendez reached base on a throwing error to start the frame. The right-hander struck out the next 2 batters before handing the ball out to Ryan Ock. Is it Ock or Oak? Ock? Ock. Christian Robinson grounded into a force out to end the inning. In the top of the 9th inning, Ock remained in the game. The left-hander retired all 3 batters to complete the no-hitter. And here's the end of the game, courtesy of San Antonio Missions, Country Legends, KKXY, and MILB TV.
Lefty against lefty. Ock ready again. The infield to right, the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Perez racing hard to his left. He's there. He's got it. A no-hit, no-run ball game. A no-hitter for the Missions. San Antonio with 3 combined pitchers hurling a no-hit, no-run ball game. Ock getting congratulations. Here comes the flying chocolate land. Missions Bobby.
It was actually
what a great moment for the San Antonio Missions right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Fly out to a little lazy ball out to right field. Especially when you hit the ball and it's like the last out, you're like, oh, did that? But when you see the outfielder kind of camp underneath it, it's done.
Yeah, we like to talk about names. I love interesting names and names that are good for a position. Right. Ock, like Ock as in walk, Ock as in balk. I can see how people could have some fun with that. And it's the stuff that you don't want to do when you're standing on a pitcher's mound. But good on him for finishing that game out. So Then on Friday, Sam Whiting provided a solid start for the Missions on Friday night. The right-hander allowed 1 run on 5 hits across 5 innings of work. For Whiting, it was his 3rd career 5-inning outing. He struck out 1 batter without issuing a walk. And then on Saturday, Victor Lizarraga allowed 1 base hit across 3 scoreless innings to start the night. He also issued 1 walk while striking out 5 batters through 3 innings of play. The right-hander allowed 3 hits and 1 walk across 6 scoreless frames. Along the way, he struck out 8 batters. For Lizarraga, it was his 5th quality start of the season. So real good start. And then, things start to get a little bit shaky, but he held it together for a scoreless, a quality start. So happy for the kid.
Absolutely. And that's another kid who's very young, playing in Double-A, and probably a lot of these guys are starting to wear down a little bit. Like, it's a long season, and sure, they do all the work in the off season and the bullpens in between games, but it's getting to be the dog days of summer right now. So to see the young kids do so well, Sam has light on the innings going up to Elsinore into high A, into Double-A. But Victor, he's been there all season, and to see him continue to do well this late in the season in Double-A is really promising. It's, there's a lot to like there with Victor.
Well, and a couple of the horses at the front of that rotation are no longer with the organization. So these guys are being pushed more to the forefront of that rotation.
Absolutely. So you want to go on to screws?
Sure, I'll take it. The San Antonio offense collected 10 hits on Wednesday, including 2 doubles and a homer. This marks the 15th time this season the Chonklas have recorded 10 or more hits in a game. 4 different Chonklas had multiple hits. Ray Patrick Ditter, Connor Hollis, Ripken Reyes, and Romeo Sanabria. On Thursday, Sanabria's career night was overshadowed by the pitching staff. That was the no-hitter night.
No-hitter,
Sanabria set a career high with 5 RBI while going 3 for 5 at the plate. He's batting .414 with 10 RBI in 8 games with the Missions. And then finally, on Friday, Michael De La Cruz put together one of his best performances of the year. The veteran catcher went 3 for 5 at the plate with the double, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. For De La Cruz, it was his second 3-hit game and his 4th 2-run game of the year.
Sanabria, dude, he's a beast. Like, I love that guy. I see his swing, and it's a left-handed swing. It's similar to, it really looks like he swings the same way that Jackson Merrill does. It's just something about it. Like, he lets the ball travel so deep into the zone, and he's able to wait back and just hit the ball and make contact, driving it the other way. He's a sprinkler. He moves it all over the field. But to see this kid come up to Double-A and continue to hit and just hit and not, it's still early and there's plenty of the season left for them to kind of get a book, but to have them see so much success, thank you, so early in Double-A, it's really good to see. I want to call it podcast mojo, but he's that good.
It's interesting that you pull out Jackson Merrill because they're such different builds. Just when I think of, I tend to, when I try to, I don't try to pull comps, but when I do, it's generally because they kind of look the same, not because of the way that they move, which is, that's just me being a casual. I'm not a scout. He's built more like Josh Naylor.
Yeah. He's a little bit bigger. Josh is a little more round. He's a little bit taller, bigger guy. But the swing,
the broad shoulders, he's a thick boy. He's built.
Yeah. And that power is going to come. So don't worry about it. Let him keep hitting and hitting for average in Double-A, and those gappers will start showing up. So the power will come. Power is there. It just hasn't shown up quite yet.
Right.
All right. So batting around, I had to throw in Henry Baez. He tossed the 3rd consecutive quality start this last Wednesday. The right-hander allowed 1 run on 7 hits across 6 innings of work. 3 of his first 4 starts at the Double-A level have been quality starts. He joins Victor Lizarraga as the only Flying Chanclas pitchers this season to record 3 consecutive quality starts. Now, when they say Flying Chanclas, they have that during the day that they wear, the Copa de Division uniform. So when they're the Missions, but whenever they're the Chanclas, I get the email, and that's what they talk about. They're the Flying Chanclas. So that's why you see the difference in the readings there.
So they're not keeping a separate stat book for when they're wearing the Chanclas uniforms versus when they're a San Antonio Mission.
No, but they do call them the Chanclas when they do wear the uniform. So they were wearing the Chancla uniforms when Henry pitched. All right. Sam Whiting, Miguel Cienfuegos, and Raul Brito did not issue a walk across 10 innings last night. This marks the 4th time this season that the Missions pitching did not walk a batter. The last time it secured was June 26th against Midland. Huge.
That seems to be something that they're encouraging up and down it seems like they're trying to limit walks. That's a focus for this organization.
Yeah. Don't be too cute.
Yeah. So moving on to El Paso, painting the corners. On Wednesday, Jared Kollar became the first pitcher in the Padres minor league system to cross the 100 innings mark for the year. The righty came up just short of another quality start, giving up 3 earned runs over 5 2/3 innings. He gave away after a flare into no man's land between 4 converging Chihuahuas defenders in short right center field, landed to drive in the final run, charged to him. The righty, who turned 26 last month, continues to get strong results, working off his cutter, curve, changeup, and 4-seam fastball.
Absolutely. He's holding his own in the PCL. Bless you. And that's
a little frog jumped into my throat right there.
Like a frog with a tennis racket. Okay, so on this cruise, Wednesday, after going hitless to his first 13 AAA at-bats, Brandon Venezuela collected his knock for the Chihuahuas with a scorching 109-mile-per-hour line drive single. He smoked another liner at 108 in his next at-bat, but it was caught. So when he makes contact, it's going. He just has to make contact more. Once again, another catcher where his primary job is not to hit the ball. Sure, you want to see these guys perform, particularly in a hitters league in the Pacific Coast League, but those hits will come. Let Brandon Venezuela just learn the pitching staff, the full AAA pitching staff, and then we'll get to bat. Then we'll start worrying about the bat and the plate appearances. All right, so Friday, Tirso Ornelas' fantastic season continued as a 24-year-old connected on a solo shot, his 18th homer of the season. He also added a single that was hit harder at 100 miles an hour than his home run at only 96 and 379 feet. Ornelas also made his second appearance at first base. Now, let me finish this, then we'll get on. The left-handed hitting Ornelas is sporting a 908 OPS this season, and he has set a new career high in homers. He is just 4 RBIs from tying the career high he set last year. After a brutal first 3 weeks of the season, Ornelas has maintained his strong performance for 4 months. Now, stick with me here. He hasn't been called up. We don't know if he'll get called up. We don't know what's going to happen with Kim, if they're going to move, who they're going to move over, who's going to get moved around. We have a lot of depth on the major league roster, but hear me out. Could it be possible that he goes for a first base position in spring training next year? I'm not sure if I'm not sure if they're going to sign Kim. We'll see if that happens. They might just let him walk. We need someone to play first base, and sure, Arise does a great job at first base, but if we can have him DH, have Chrome move back over to second, where that's his natural position is second base. I know you got to find somewhere to Bogarts to go, but do you put Bogarts back at short? Do you bring someone from the outfield into short? But I think that might open up position for Tirso, because I think Tirso is going to have to, is one of those guys where if you bring him up, you got to let him play. You can't have him sit on the bench and kind of try to figure it out sporadically. Like, he needs to play every day. But that's one of those things I was thinking about when I've seen him this past couple of times. I'm sure they're just trying to get his bat in the lineup and see what it looks like over there at first base. But I haven't really watched much over there with him on first base. But just a thought I was thinking of.
Yeah, it looks like he started there again last night. So 2 of the last 3 games, he pinch hit the night before. So first base, pinch hit first base. And then there was a handful of starts in the outfield going back to his first start at first base. I don't think it's much more than just trying to get his bat into the lineup one way or another. Maybe get a little bit of a look, but I mean, first base is hard. You're supposed to say it's easy, and then you point to Ron Washington and says it's very difficult.
It's a very difficult position.
But
and we have
and then Jackson Merrill had never played the outfield really, and then he, now he's looking like a future Gold Glove contender in center field. So I mean, anything could happen. I have a hard time seeing them give a rookie that doesn't have quite the ceiling that Jackson Merrill had, giving that guy the time to really find it. And as much as Tirso, as well as he's doing this year, he's struggled at each level before he finally broke out of that plateau to get to the next level. So I'd love to think that he's going to be in a competition next year and he'll be taking lots of grounders at first base. I have a hard time seeing it happen.
I'm just trying to get the guy to the majors. He really earns it. He's really earned this year.
Right. Okay. So if Kim has to go on the IL and you got Eggy down there, so if you need another infielder, he's the guy that's going to come up. But I looked it up, and since he went back down after being up here for he was with the major league team for like 3 games, then they sent him back down. He's been struggling at the plate, so I don't know if he's the guy to get the call. Mason McCoy is flashing a great glove down there in AAA, but then I mean Tyler Wade. As much as people want to overlook what Wade has done for he's actually been hitting pretty darn well in the last month or so. He's been hitting for a good average. He's getting on base a ton. Doesn't have the pop, but he keeps the train rolling. He's doing his job on this offense, and he plays a very good defense everywhere he is. Yeah, if it's just a stopgap kind of a thing, I think they just roll with Wade.
Yeah, and same thing with Ryan Johnson. Bryce Johnson, you want your prospects to come up and contribute, but I don't want to see Tesla come up and be a Tyler Wade or, a fill-in guy. Maybe he is a platoon guy in the outfield. What's going to happen in the offseason with Profar? he's gonna want decent money. Even at his age, he earns a decent contract, at least a 2 to 3 year deal. In the double digit, I would think somewhere close to double digits. I don't think he takes a San Diego discount. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. So Preller's going to have to Preller really to kind of keep this ball squad together. That's with
now, as for
pitching.
Bryce Johnson, I do want to point out that this team's in the playoff hunt, and you don't want a rookie out there making rookie mistakes, diving for a ball that they shouldn't be diving at. And then you got a little league home run or throwing to the wrong base, or, on the bases getting, Bryce Johnson's gotten picked off his share, but rookies make mistakes, and they often come at the most inconvenient times. And is that this team can't stand that. So that's where you got Tyler Wade, you got Bryce Johnson here to do their job, and they're doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the great thing about Kim left. Wade took over, didn't skip a beat, and that's the kind of the depth that we've been missing these past couple of years. Yeah, those guys aren't flashy, but you don't want them to be flashy. You want them to go there and do the job. And that's what's important, is they come and do the job. All right. I was just trying to get him to the majors. It was just a thought. I'm like, it could happen. We'll see. We will see what happens. But let's finish this out here with batting around. Now, Brandon Valenzuela pulled off the rare feat of getting credited with throwing out 2 base runners in one play.
Wait. How did he do that?
With runners on the corner, the trail runner broke for second. Valenzuela threw a bullet to second that shortstop Mason McCoy came forward to catch and get the out with a sweep tag. When the ball went through, Matt Beatty broke for home, but McCoy's return throw nailed him at the plate. Just your everyday 2-6-2 double play.
Wow, 2-6-2.
Yeah.
That's one of those I want to go back into the record books and see how often that play, because they try that double steal all the time, and usually the catcher doesn't throw down.
Yeah.
That runner going from second is just a decoy so they can take off from third base. But knowing that you got Matt Beatty, who used to have some wheels, but now he's old busted up Matt Beatty, and we saw enough of him last year. And then trusting your arm and knowing that you got Mason McCoy out there with a good glove, and he also has a pretty strong arm.
Yeah.
So, understanding the timing of that, it worked out. Did you see the play? There was 8-9 to 4-2 double play that got turned last night in the majors?
No.
Center fielder goes back, catches the ball at the wall and falls down at the base of the wall, flips the ball to the right fielder relay in. They got the guy at the plate. It's just, it's one of those things about scorekeeping. If you keep your own scorebook, those are the things where it's you don't see that combination. Okay, 5-4-3, 6-4-3. You see that stuff all the time, but 2-6-2 isn't one that you write down very often. So you put a little star next to that one.
And if you touch it, you're in the play. It's and that's the funny thing about keeping score like that. That we keep score in baseball like that's the intent. Like it was intent to have the was it center field? The 7 throw to the 9, the throw to the 2. Like that's not by design. That's just he tossed the ball up to the guy that it's
right. The ball goes off the pitcher's foot,
right,
and the first baseman throws home. Now it's a 1-3-2.
Yeah,
it counts. He got an assist on that play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that happens every once in a while when a guy gets shotgun, he kind of just turns his foot defensively and it kicks it over to the shortstop or the second baseman and it catches it, throws it to first, and then
I'm doing my part.
We're doing our part, right? Hey, well, that's it. We'll come back next week. Till then, you can find me on Twitter at SD Donovan.
I'm at Zippy_TMS. Let's go Padres.
Let's go Padres.
Guys,